Rosenior said he would learn a lot from this game, but Enzo Maresca could have told him Chelsea's second string can play like donkeys, and the first choice cavalry are thoroughbreds. Sign up for the Chelsea newsletter. Thank you. Enzo Fernandez fired Chelsea to victory against West HamCredit. Getty. Marc Cucurella headed in to drag the hosts levelCredit. Getty. And after halftime subs Joao, Pedro and Marc Cucurella hauled the Blues level, it was another Enzo, Captain Fernandez, who supplied the stoppage-time winner. West Ham lost the game and then their heads, with Jean-Clair Todibo sent off for grabbing Pedro by the neck in a late brawl. Chelsea won the fight that mattered, by the skin of their teeth. Maybe Rosenior just wanted to find out for himself. Read more on football. Just like Maresca, he made huge changes between a midweek game and the Premier League. A home side with only 4 starters from the fantastic win at Napoli were duly outplayed by an almost rampant West Ham, who led 2-0 at the break through Jarrod Bowen and Crescencio Somerville. After one of Chelsea's best performances of the season, they produced probably their worst half of the campaign. Throwing on your better players is hardly a stroke of coaching genius, most read in football. Best free bets and betting sign-up offers. Rosenior could hardly have asked for a better impact from his 3 half-time subs. Fofana set up Joao Pedro for the first, and Cucurella grabbed the equalizer. And the home fans who had booed their team off at halftime celebrated wildly when Fernandez grabbed the winner. They would have taken a point at the break, mind. West Ham were great value for their 2-goal lead. Rosenior has been talking up goalkeeper Robert Sanchez since his gaffes cost Chelsea dear in the first leg of the Carabao Cup semi-final. The Spaniard has indeed put in some good displays, but inside 7 minutes, Sanchez was at fault. Although Garnacho had a lot to answer for in the build-up to Bowen's goal, first the Argentinian lost a challenge to Wan-Bissaka. Then he failed to jockey the West Ham captain effectively. Bowen undoubtedly intended his left-footed effort as a cross. The lunge by West Ham forward Pablo undoubtedly distracted Sanchez, but he could have done more to stop it going straight in without anyone touching it. The West Ham right was a world of pain for the hosts. Another really simple pass and move ended with Bowen playing in Valentin Castellanos. Sanchez stopped the shot at his near post. Chelsea ratings versus West Ham. Pedro is Blues' savior off bench again, but hooked Garnacho is woeful. Joao Pedro came off the bench to inspire a stunning 3-2 comeback win for Chelsea against West Ham. The striker found himself on the bench despite scoring twice in the Blues' Champions League victory at Napoli earlier this week. But he turned the game on its head when he was introduced at the break, after Jarrod Bowen and Crescencio Somerville had given West Ham a 2-goal advantage. Pedro got the comeback up and running before fellow sub Marc Cucurella leveled matters. Pedro then set up Enzo Fernandez for a dramatic stoppage-time winner to leave West Ham, who ended the contest with 10 men after Jean-Clair Todibo's red card, empty-handed. Sunsport's Jack Rosser has given his ratings of the Blues players. Rosenior rang the changes at halftime credit. PA. Alejandro Garnacho was one of 3 players to be hooked by the manager credit, PA. The away fans were already having a ball. This being West Ham, there were a few chants of "sack the board" and unrepeatable songs about co-owner David Sullivan. Chelsea were giving their own supporters nothing to get behind. Cole Palmer, after his decisive second-half display in Napoli, was once more disappointing. A free kick, easily saved by Alphonse Areola, was followed by taunts of "You're just a St. Jared Bowen" from the West Ham faithful. Harsh, but on this evidence, fair. Not only was Bowen a bigger threat going forward, he was working like a Trojan in his own half, too. But he soon had a hand in the glorious second goal. After Liam Delap conceded a brainless free kick, Enzo Fernandez was given time to sling a long diagonal into Bowen's path. Nuno Espirito Santo was unable to counter Chelsea's changes credit. Getty. Joao Pedro got the comeback started for the hosts credit. Reuters. The winger controlled it with one touch and played the ball on to Wan-Bissaka, with Garnacho once more doing nothing useful. The full-back crossed first time and Somerville did the same with his finish, sweeping the ball back across Sanchez and into the net. Chelsea and Rosenior were grateful to make it to the break with no more damage. Benoit Badiashile, struggling left-back Joao Harto and the awful Garnacho were all hooked at half-time. It made little difference in the opening minutes of the second half. After Sanchez saved well from Fernandez, the midfielder caught out Chelsea, and Fofana in particular, with a quickly taken free kick. Bowen had a clear shot at goal and should have done better than hit it straight at the Chelsea keeper. After 52 minutes, Chelsea were yet to register a shot of any kind or even to have a touch in West Ham's box. But the tide did begin to turn. Suddenly, it was the home side winning the 50-50s. Delap could only steer a Cucurella cross wide, but moments later, the other 2 substitutes combined superbly. Fofana clipped an inviting cross to the back post and Pedro sent his header back across and over Areola. The home fans finally found their voice. Moises Caicedo was told to shoot from distance and did. Only a brilliant save by Areola denied him. Now it was West Ham boss Nuno Espirito Santo who needed to change something. On came a third centre-back, in Max Kilman, to replace Pablo. Castellanos sent a rare sight of goal for the visitors wide and soon it was 2-2. The match ended with a brawl between the teams credit. Reuters. Jean-Clair Todibo was sent off for violent conduct credit. AFP. Another deep cross, this time from Neto, was headed across goal by Malo Gusto. Kilman could only head against his own bar under pressure from Delap and Cucurella stooped to conquer, heading into the net. West Ham centre-back Jean-Clair Todibo hit the post. Palmer had a shot blocked by Kilman. It seemed the winning streaks of both teams would end, but in the second of 5 minutes of stoppage time, Pedro crossed and Fernandez sent the Chelsea bench and most of the stadium into ecstasy. Recommended stories. There was more uproar before the final whistle and Konstantinos Mavropanos was lucky not to join Todibo in seeing red. The story of the Blues was a game of two halves, and the second was just enough to secure their second come-from-behind 3-2 win in a week. Comments.